Zippity dippity doo, it is Saturday. I'm gonna jump on here for a few miles and then again spend office hours. Speaking to 4th through 6th graders next week, and I really would like a good illustration for each message that will stick with them, and or maybe just one or two really good ones that they'll take with them the rest of their life. And so I'm doing quite a bit of work trying to do that. And then the sermon Sunday, of course, want to get that done. The next 3 weeks are going to be extremely crazy. I will try and post from Lutana. I think they do have Wi-Fi, so I'll be able to post my video each day. If not, I will do something different. And then when we go to North Carolina, we'll be trying to post on a regular basis there also. So lots of things happening, a lot of things going on over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, 'tis life, isn't it? 3 miles today. I've got quite a bit of reading I want to get caught up on, and again, some more research on those illustrations and things. But I thought I'd walk out here. It's still pretty cool, 70s. Check out my flowers and our little garden. Probably turn on a baseball game while I'm working. I really did miss the baseball. It's a very relaxing game for me. I'm not real sure why I find it so relaxing, but I know it as it's a game that a lot of people don't. I mean, they'll go watch games, but they don't get into it and like really study the game. And for me, it's like a chess match with some moments of spectacular athleticism. But anyway, I was looking for my clippers. Decided to take a break from reading and writing. Go down and check the mail. See, told you people throw stuff in our yard. Beautiful day, beautiful day. Not too hot. Sun shining all right. Been thinking about the serving in difficult places. I shared that video and a few of my thoughts. And as I've been thinking about it more and more, I think that's actually one of the areas where we're going to have to see the church make some better progress. When you think about starting a business, starting a church, starting anything, your first thoughts say, well, let's put it in a place where it's going to be most likely to be productive. So a city with people and things like that. But I'm not sure that is absolutely accurate or sustainable. We're starting to see more and more of a shift to smaller home style churches. I think where it's actually making an impact is some of the more difficult to reach places, or difficult places to serve. Not difficult to reach, difficult to serve. places that they've just kind of been the backbone of society. Here where we are, ranching is the big thing. They make meat, so it's cow-calf operations, and you have people that are just salt of the earth, work hard, do those types of things, and here they are. Since we've been in Jordan, we've seen several people come and go from town, whether they be ranch hands or they maybe came for some other reason. We've seen several people who lived here move. It's just a difficult place to stay unless you have some deep roots planted. You lose a lot of the high school kids once they graduate because there's just not work here. So they go to places where there is work. And I don't think there's any difference in the mentality of the church sometimes. Think of pastoring as a career, not a calling. And so you go where it's easier to serve, where it's easier to be successful in many people's eyes. One of the questions that gets asked when you start looking at these small towns is things like, is it sustainable? And I think that's a valid question. If a church wants to be there and thrive, is it sustainable? I know there's a lot of bivocational pastors and pastors who work secondary jobs, maybe not full time, but some in order to supplement their income. And I have my own opinions about some of that. There's a reason that we have chosen to live on what the church can provide. So trying to work and build a ministry is and do the job of a pastor is really, really difficult. So those guys that are doing that and doing a good job, hats off to them. But I know when I worked here for the first 4 years, the ministry really struggled because I was trying to, Sharon and I were both working, and we were both just trying to make ends meet, and we weren't really given the time necessary to work at the church and the things that needed to be done there. So I don't know, there's a lot of room for discussion there. But what I'm saying is, when people say, is it sustainable, they're really asking less of a spiritual question and more of a logistical question. And while I think that's fair, I think a better question is, does that community need a church? If the answer is yes, you guys got to figure out how to make it happen. I don't think any of us would say no at a particular community. So then that leads me to another question of does the support for that church only come from the community? Is it all going to have to come from within that community, or is it a realistic model to expect some of these churches to be partnered with in order to sustain them as like a mission project or something like that? You know, a church that has a little more disposable income coming in, are they able to support another church? Yeah, and there's a lot of questions that come up with accountability and issues like that, but I think that's a valid question for some of these small rural communities that just don't have the economic base to pay a pastor and the work of the ministry that's happening. Just to give a practical understanding of that, our church, which normally has between 40 and 50 people on Sunday, is primarily made up of about 4 or 5 families. And so when you're looking at what each particular family can give to the church in order to maintain it, you're asking a lot from individual families. And I know on paper they like to put it down and say, well, there's so much per person. Well, you got to look at it per family. And so it's a little more logistically demanding trying to get that figured out. Kind of the same for our school systems, kind of the same for our businesses in town. It's all on a set number of families that live in this community. So just interesting questions when you're thinking about a difficult place.